White has obviously a big advantage and a passed pawn on d5, but how can he exploit it? Well, if we look into the position, you might see that the square e6 is very weak for black. Black isn't really controlling that square, but with the queen, and that's for sure not enough. So the question is knight to g5 working? Well, there are some things we must consider when we think about knight to g5. For example, pawn to f4. Now the most obvious move here is bishop takes h7 check, king h8, and now the question is what to play. What would you play? Let me know in the comments. And here, the only good move is queen to h3, which allows queen takes g5. Because, as you might have recognized here, both minor pieces, the knight on g5 and the bishop on h7, are attacked. So now back to queen h3, and queen takes g5. Now there's a very tempting move for white, which is suggested by a lot of my students, and this is bishop to g6, and this is a big mistake, because after queen h6, it turns out that this is not the typical mating pattern that usually looks like this. So that's not happening, but white is simply not mating. And worse than that, if white wants to keep the material by capturing here and on b7, the problem is white is a pawn up, that's true, but now comes f3 and this king is horribly weak. So therefore, white really needs to watch out and see what he is doing. So instead of bishop g6, there's a far stronger move, which is bishop f5 check, because now this knight on d7 is attacked by the bishop, and the queen will safeguard the king's side. For example, king to g8, and bishop takes d7. White is a pawn up, and it is obvious that white has a winning position. For more chess content, follow this channel.